Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Crescent City Cup. I am Morris Greenberg reporting live with Rafi Stern, and we
Hello,
have a
everyone.
great matchup this time of two 6-1 players, Adam Ginsberg and Seth Lipkin. Adam being in the California area, I believe San Francisco these days. Seth hailing from my hometown of Boston. Miss that city, miss Seth Lipkin, but all these guys are awesome. Both Adam and Seth are great hangs, great Scrabble players, and it's going to be a great game.
And Adam very quickly opens with, he opens with Juicer. I thought it was Juice, but he adds on the R, which is actually very fortuitous for Seth because now he can play overbets through the R.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would have played the R off Juicer versus Juice. What's your intuition telling you, Rafi?
I think it's pretty close because he doesn't want to give back the R hook or the D hook or the S hook himself. And he thought that it would be a little bit better in terms of what it gives back. But the R in hand means that he could use it, and the R is just a great tile to keep in general. So it's probably pretty close.
Yeah, and it looks like Adam picked up 6 consonants anyways. So Seth should be able to find this. Seth is really good in his bingos. He has his 8-letter flashcards he goes through often on the train to work. I know this because he was one of my hometown guys and he always showed me this. And the chat also points out that you can't do the VER hook in front of Juicer versus Juice. So that's an advantage, but doesn't matter. Seth plays over bets. And this will be an interesting position for Adam here.
Yeah, I think there's a giant potential X spot if he has even a single vowel, which means that he might choose to play a play like clogs in order to preserve that spot for next turn.
Yeah, clogs or even clog if he's feeling really risky.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I don't hate just playing clog. The main benefit of playing the S is that it scores a lot more points and gives one more draw to vowel. But playing just clog could cause Seth to overreact and block that spot where Adam can just draw one vowel, play off the X for 50, and retain his S. So I think clog is a pretty cool play, actually.
Clog would be a really cool play. And it actually isn't necessarily telegraphing an S, to be honest. It could just mean you're weirdly vowel heavy or something. It's a really hard play to determine what in the world is your opponent thinking when they only play for 8 points, 3 consonants. What's their objective here?
Yeah.
It would be a really funny play, but I think it would be pretty cool. And the chat points out Seth draw was almost untimely. It was minutely off of untimely.
I imagine that Adam's really considering not playing the X here. I mean, he could just play Lex, but I don't really think he should. I think he should save it.
Yeah. One other option is you could play Colt. That keeps the S and isn't quite as risky as Clog. Scores a few more points. Someone's asking, is there any merit to exchanging CGLL? I think if you're thinking about that, probably just play Clog, keep the L, and confuse your opponent a lot. Don't allow that double lane. And it scores 8 points versus no points. I think it would be better to play Clog instead of exchange those 4 tiles, but I'm not actually sure of that.
I agree. Another cool thing about Clog is that if you pluralize Juicer with your S and it's not blocked, any vowel other than a U can play vertically downward with the X for a lot of points.
Yeah, that's true. And Alec points out we didn't do the blank guessing. Yeah, totally do that. Let's say in the next 2 turns, since we haven't seen a blank yet, I guess. Sorry for forgetting to broadcast that this round, but blank guessing is guess 2 letters. Could be the same letter if you want. That's your prerogative. You get the amount of points that the tile is worth if that tile is designated as a blank. If you guess 2 of the same letter and it is indeed that letter twice, you get more points. You get double the total. So if you guess 2 E's, you get 4 points instead of 2. And
Adam elects to play clog, so one of the 2 options that we thought was best, keeping his X for next turn. If he draws a single vowel, will he do it? Can he do it?
yeah, the one thing I don't love about clogs, to be honest, is same with the problem that Josh ran into with Mulked last game, potentially, is that now that E in overbets is the best spot on the board. So Adam's trying to be clever with saving that for next turn, but by blocking the other spot, a lot of the time Seth is going to be looking at that E in overbets to play. So the thing I like better about clog in a lot of ways instead of clogs is it distracts Seth from that E in overbets.
It does. And it sets up another spot to play too.
Right, for Adam specifically. So it's something that you guys have to monitor when you're thinking about making a clever play and saving the higher point play for next turn. How likely is it that my opponent, by me playing this first play, will block the higher point play that's necessary in this sequence? If it's a lot of the time, you have to think about, is there another way to avoid making the big play this turn that doesn't draw attention to that spot?
Someone in the chat pointed out multiety, which is not good in TWL, but maybe good in Collins.
26.
Ooh, mustily.
So Seth plays mustily here. I guess we didn't really spend a lot of time of what Seth could do. I think he wanted to get rid of the U and Y, though, and that's a high-scoring play for getting rid of the U and Y. I don't see anything else right away that's in the same ballpark, but I guess he could have played Muley through the E and over bets, but other than that, I don't really see other options. And Adam does cash in with Ox now.
Yeah, good. 116.
So we have a pretty close game, I think, after Adam's Ox. Kind of going back to the tempo kind of game we saw last game for Josh and Jackson. Also, one thing I forgot to mention, this is the last game of the day. So, again, these are 2 of the top people in the standings. I don't know if there's anyone who's 7-0 right now. I haven't checked. But one of these 2, whoever wins, is likely going to be in first place at the end of the day.
Indeed. And being that it's the last game of the day and being that both players are, that this tournament is in New Orleans, there's definitely a big fatigue factor that could be happening right now. It's very, very likely that both players went out and had fun last night, hanging out with the rest of the tournament crew. And when you stay up late and then have to play 8 games of Scrabble, the fatigue factor really becomes pretty hard.
Yeah, for sure. Although I find when I'm winning a lot, like these 2 players are, I'm in a better mood and can concentrate more on the game. I don't have any bad energy coming to me. But maybe that's because I'm not good at pacing myself.
And the adrenaline factor when you're winning definitely kicks in, too. High adrenaline here to play.
Yeah, so it looks like Seth is considering things like FAENA, possibly, although he circles back to the drawing board. What do you see right now, Rafi, that Seth could do?
Faena is very high scoring, but slotting an A in right below the double letter score in the triple lane could be very, very, very dangerous because any big consonant there can easily score 40 points with a play to the triple. So
he could do Faena off the M in Muscly instead of... instead of directly underneath the ILY in Muscly. It scores less points, but it would still score points and not quite as riskily.
Yeah.
So we'll see which Faena he's considering right now. Does he go risky underneath the ILY in muscly or off of just the M. Fetal is also being pointed out in the chat. That is also a very reasonable play off the L and clogs.
I like fetal better. Better than Feyena. Well,
In
how many
either
points-
spot?
Well, let's see. Feyena on the right would be.
I like Feyena on the left-hand side of the board. Feyena on the left-hand side of the board scores 6, 7, 9, 18, 23 total. Fetal scores 27. I counted as 24.
Yeah.
So, okay. That makes sense. 4 more points instead of 1 more point. Yeah,
And-
I could see the merits of that. TE versus ANE, I forget the valuation. That's probably around 3 points, though, different.
Well, one benefit of ANE is that you're hanging an open T, which is one of the best tiles for that for 8-letter words. So, and it's not a spot that's likely to be blocked. That T is likely to be still hanging next turn. So, you give yourself a great chance to draw an 8 if you play fetal.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Twitch is a little bit of a stress.
So, it looks like Seth is kind of sticking with Feyena, probably in the 2 spots.
Oh, he plays at the
goes-
top, going
at-
defensive.
I don't think that's more defensive, though. I think because the underneath 4-letter words are a lot easier to do underneath Feyena than above Feyena. Because underneath F, A, and E can go there, whereas A cannot go underneath or over Feyena. Right?
It's a bit more defensive for bingos, but in terms of scoring, it's probably pretty similar. I was thinking more in terms of how many bingos it gave back, which now on this board are not many. There aren't a lot of bingo options, but I also don't really know why Seth was super worried about that because he's not ahead. He's actually behind by 3 still. But maybe
although 3 is like just basically it's a tempo game at some point, or just right. It's going to be shooting back and forth. But one thing that did, I guess Adam now has caught. It did block the U in Juicer, which Adam could have cashed in and gotten rid of more letters. But Adam's still able to score 24 points.
And Seth has a pretty good rack. He has a good chance of leaving bingo tiles for next turn. He's looking at playing maybe EEW and YE is one option.
Well, the chat suggests Newell, which
Newell, yeah.
which Alex says is how he pronounces NWL. I always say NWL. It reminds me of NWA, which is one of my favorite groups of all time. So Adam does have slogged or dog legs, as Jesse points out. But I don't think there's a spot for those.
Newell looks like a
We'll
great
see
play.
if Seth gives Adam anything. But in the meantime, let's focus on Seth for a minute or two. So EEW would be really open, and that would give Adam the bingos. Newell's definitely less open of a play. Is there anything else that's jumping out to you? Sorry, Rafi. Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say I think Newell is a bit better because it gives back way less, and there's not really much of a benefit to giving back a giant scoring spot that blocks all the bingo lanes. If he plays EEW, a parallel play will shut down the lanes to just open, and he won't even have a spot for his bingo anyway. So because of that, playing Newell, which scores better and isn't as easy to score off of, I think Newell is probably the best play here.
Agreed. Yeah, I guess he could maybe do few off the F and Fana. That wouldn't be terrible either, and would be pretty defensive.
16.
But it's still 7 less points than Newell. So
And he
Oh, wow,
elects to say "awi," which I don't really like very much.
Yeah, I don't love it either. I guess it does open It's starting to open different quadrants of the board, which is important to do at some point, I guess. But it seems a bit rushed. And
And here
Adam is
comes
taking
Slogged.
advantage of the most recent two-letter word updates, playing EW. I think that's the first time I've ever seen that played on stream in a TWL game, or NWL game, excuse me.
And Seth is not happy and visibly upset that he gave Adam a spot to play a previously unplayable bingo.
Yeah. Yeah, those are the kind of plays you want to take back once you see what your opponent has.
How much did you say? I thought it said 89. Oh, I thought you said 99.
But alas, there are no mulligans in Scrabble. Once you make a play and hit your clock, it has to stay on the board. And
Yes.
these are the consequences for playing "awi" this time.
Yes, indeed. So now turning to Seth again. What does he do here with ABEINNT?
Build a time machine and not play "awi." That's what he wishes he could do, but he has to make a real play here. He can't do that.
Yeah.
So, wow. The good thing is that there's actually a lot of bingo lanes open now, so he does have a chance to get back in this game. He can play an E between S and C and slogged and clogs, and to play an E there. So there is a chance for the board to be back open. I kind of like playing an B off of the U and Mustily right now.
Unb?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a very nice idea. It gives another bingo lane, regrooms his rack a bit. The E there is a super dangerous tile. So that'd actually be a pretty nice idea. I really like that, Rafi.
Yeah, if that spot stays open, his chance of hitting a bingo with AINT through the E is very high. And both blanks are unseen, so he's not out of it yet. If he draws a blank and draws a bingo, he's right back in it.
Yeah, I saw him flash around Binate for a second there. He might play Binate in Sec or Binate in ES if he's feeling riskier. But yeah, it would Unb is a really nice idea. Oh, he has that set up now.
He does. That would be a beautiful play.
Yeah. So we'll see. So that it looks like he set it back. So in the meantime, Adam does have the Z. I'm not actually seeing a ton of Z spots right away. I guess he could play Fizz, yeah.
Yeah. And if Unb comes down, he'll probably play Biz to shut down that area a bit.
That would make a lot of sense.
Seth is also looking at Cab atop Mustily, which scores a bit more than Unb, but the double and leave is not too appetizing.
Ooh, the chat suggests a nice play. Adam could play Zori and SIC, and that would block that top part of the board a lot.
Yeah, so it depends on what Seth does, because what he does right here is going to really dictate what Adam will want to do on his turn.
18.
If a new quadrant opens up, he'll have multiple things to deal with. Ooh.
That's not a terrible idea. I like that. Seth is going to start opening that part of the board. It's not a bad idea to do.
If he draws an S, that spot is going to be open for a long time.
Well, except if Adam plays a Zit play, but he needed an A.
Yeah. Now Zori would be a wonderful play.
Yeah, Zori looks really nice here. That closes down a lot.
In the lexicon of blank designations, using the lingo blank as an M as in Morris, If you're making the blank a Z, you have to say blank is a Z as in Zori's.
Yeah, and the context of that is once I was playing at the Nationals against Josh Sokol. Will Anderson was one board over. I was down by a bunch of points. I have a blank to pull it within 100. And frustratingly, I said the blank is an M as in Morris. It was membrane was the word. And hit my clock. And Will started cackling. He could not believe I designated the blank with my own name. And since then, whenever I've had an M blank designation, I've said the blank is an M as in Morris. The most incredible of which was venomous as a triple.
And similarly, if the blank is a B, you can say blank is a B as in Boris, blank is an N as in Norris. There's a lot of options.
Yeah, really, I'm just hoping the world uses my name as much as possible in Scrabble settings. Whenever you have a blank designation, try to rhyme it with Morris. It might not even make sense, but it's fun, for me at least.
When the blanks come out in this game, we'll do our best to try.
Yeah. And I think when we played at Nationals once, Rafi, we played multiple games against each other. I think I exclusively did blank designations that rhymed with my name.
I think you did. In that fateful game where I held one of your plays for 7 minutes.
That sounds right. I remember that game. I think I lost the rest of the games after that, but that game was triumphant. So right now, Adam's really considering a lot of things, it seems like. Maybe he's not seeing Zori, because that looks head and shoulders above everything else. If you don't see Zori, this is actually a pretty tough position.
Agreed.
But he now has it out.
I think that was the first time he even shuffled his rack on this turn. Some players shuffle their rack madly all the time, and some just sit and stare at it and rarely move their tiles around. Just thinking about everything in their head.
Yeah, I tend to do that. Unless I think I might forget a word, and then I actually write it down sometimes, even in addition to setting it up on my rack. So Zori's played, and Seth does have a few A's, so I'm guessing he'll do something that will go underneath Zori.
He could play Faena now. Because now he's behind by a lot, so Faena has a bit more merit than it did before.
27.
Oh, interesting. Well, Seth is playing Fan. I actually am not sure. I would have loved to try to make it a 4-letter word just to have a bingo lane option in the top left quadrant. By only playing Fan, there are no bingos that could come down still right now. And Seth needs bingo opportunities being down by around 90 points.
And he blocked off the hooks to sick, the E hook and the S hook.
Yeah, so I would have loved him if he was going to go underneath Zori. I would have loved to see a 4 or even 5-letter word if that was possible. But Seth quickly played the high equity play. We'll see how that works out.
And one reason he probably did that was because he's already down to only 11 minutes and may have felt like he needed to conserve time.
Yeah, that's fair. Adam, in the meantime, did not have the greatest draw. Can you play Opine anywhere?
I don't see any good spot for Opine. Although, he does have the Zap hook. He could play Pwn. And indeed
That's
he does.
exactly what he does. That's a good amount of points. And in Adam's position, he's up by almost 90. Just take the points, continue building on that lead is not a bad strategy.
Up 90 before the play, now it's up 117.
Yeah, so sometimes if you just keep on scoring and then have to exchange one turn, if you're already up by over 100, exchanging once isn't that bad.
And Seth was pretty unlucky here drawing the UW combination together.
Yeah, although this these 7 letters do have a few 8s, right? Isn't unthawed good?
Yeah,
Am I
I
making
believe
that
it is.
And unswathed also, I think, right?
Yeah, I think. My word knowledge
Yeah,
is
so
apparently rusty right now. Yeah, unswayed is good.
and unthawed is unthawed good.
Unthought is good as well.
So I don't know if there are any others, but those would be the 2 I'd look for. I don't think either hits, but he could play Haw, hits an AB off of Fib, and that would fork the board.
It would. It would.
So
And
I'm guessing
if he plays Haw, given Adam's rack, he doesn't really have a great way to deal with that without burning his blank.
yeah, surprisingly. So
Yeah,
Seth might not realize it, but
Haw
would be a really good play in this. He could maybe even do something more risky like HAUT if he wanted to leave the HIT with a W on his rack. Right? So if he plays HAUT, Adam might be concerned about blocking the T, and then Seth has WHIT and can go up for high points to the triple.
potentially.
Yeah, I think Hot might be very good there. HAUT. That's the kind of play I would think a lot about. HAW versus HAUT. Which one of those do you prefer, Rafi?
Wow, it's tough. I think. Ugh.
Because a lot of most of the time you can make a 3-letter word parallel to the AB that blocks everything with Ha. HAUT, it's much harder to block both spots.
Agreed.
And you have the W for a bunch of points.
Yeah, I think because of that, I would prefer playing HAUT.
Yeah.
You're down by a lot, but a 5-letter play ending in W could score 50 points. And the only downside is with a deficit of about 120, a 50-point play isn't really enough to get back into the game. You need to bingo. And
well, you need the 50-point play and a bingo, essentially.
Yeah, you need a lot to go right.
So Seth might actually get his lucky break unless Adam burns his blank here.
Yeah. Wow, what a turn of events. He has retunes, neuters, any of those bingos, making the S hook before a hit.
Yeah. So this is a tough position for Adam now.
It would be crazy if he somehow sniffed us out and decided to burn his blank and play something really small parallel to Han block. There's no way he'll do it.
I think he might be setting up a play underneath that blocks the HAWS. So with a blank S.
He's up by enough that he doesn't really need to burn that.
Well, he's up by enough that's scoring. How many points does that score? That scores 18, 27 points. So that will give him over a 100-point lead. Clean out most of the clutter on his rack. And Seth scoring an 80-point bingo will still give him a 20-something point lead, and he'll now have much better tiles than before. So I see the merits of like he has set up.
But if he plays it in Seth bingos, he just also opened up another quadrant. There's the tile above an I can make a bingo in a new spot. And
I guess that's fair.
Yeah, I think he has to not burn his blank here. There's just too many things that can go wrong, and the best defense is a good offense.
Yeah, I think maybe AI and AW might be the play there, which is what he's doing. That looks pretty good. Although now there will be no bingo lanes. This will actually be a much more interesting game. Hopefully Adam can pick up something that goes through the L and mustily. and no haploids. Doesn't
Haploidy.
fit.
Oh, no,
It doesn't fit.
Yeah.
So Seth plays retunes. That looks reasonable.
Good play, good play.
So Adam might make another sort of setup play with an H. He could put the H above the EW above slogged and we. And he has the P, so he could do something with that and the blank S possibility. Right now, it looks like there have been 3 S's played, so there's only 1 S left. And I guess 1 blank unseen from Adam's perspective. So he could maybe be thinking about doing a setup kind of play if there are no bingos.
Or just play shipload.
Oh, it does shipload. Yeah, shipload plays. Nice find.
Yeah, thank you. Not an easy one, though. You might not notice it, but I think Adam's going to be able to sniff this one out and find it.
Yeah, Adam has really great board vision from what I've seen. Of the words, he doesn't, I think, have he has very good word knowledge, but not the absolute best word knowledge, but he finds a lot of plays. He doesn't usually miss bingos that he knows. It looks like he might be... Oh, well, where would he play how? Oh, I guess above Mustily?
Yeah.
Yeah, he might be thinking, I'm up by 18. I can score points, continue building on the lead. Seth will need to open something up eventually, and then I can cash in, which is not a bad strategy at all.
And shipload doesn't hit any double words and doesn't score very much. So,
and it opens a pretty dangerous spot. So how actually might sim better? I wouldn't be surprised about that.
I could imagine that Adam counted how many points a bingo through the L would even be, decided it's not enough points, it opens up too many spots. I'm not even going to look for a bingo and just find the best defensive play.
Yeah, I think that's right. And another key thing to monitor is Seth his time is ticking. He is 7.5 minutes right now. Seth is not quite as savvy as Josh last game is in low time situations. So Adam might also be thinking about, I can slightly fast play him right now. I have a bit over a 40-point lead. I'm in decent shape. Just put the pressure on.
It looks like Seth is looking to play VUM underneath the MU of Mustily, which looks pretty decent here.
Yeah, that does seem reasonable at this point. I don't really... That'll be nice for Adam because he is the P for ump. But yeah, if you're Seth, what's your plan here? You're down around 50. You're going to need to bingo eventually. I feel like VUM doesn't do enough for whatever plan you'd need for bingoing long term. IARR isn't that great a leave for bingos.
Yeah.
It sometimes hits, but it's not that great.
If he happens to draw a blank out of the bag or a P, though, then it could materialize into something.
Yeah. And Adam probably doesn't want to hit that spot because ump could give back... Well, have both H's been played? Yeah, I guess both H's have been played. But I guess there's still an S unseen. So Seth actually gets some 7s here with trailer and retrial, but I don't think they'll play next turn, most likely, unless Adam does something crazy.
Yeah, I think Adam will do his best to keep the board very tight. But what about through the E in overbets?
Through the E in overbets. Oh, I didn't see that. That's a good point. So retailer?
He has a sneaky spot for retailer, which might stay open. Wow.
Yeah, and also the chat points out I actually missed one of the S's. All 4 S's have been played at this point, so the blanks are the last options for pluralization. So Adam might not be quite as scared to put the P down in ump, giving umps possibilities. That'll be something to monitor.
If retailer doesn't get blocked, then Seth could somehow be back in this game without even drawing a block.
Yeah. And Adam plays try. That's a nice idea. Adam's continuing to say, I have the 30-plus point lead. I have a blank. If you keep opening for not that many points, I'm going to score for around the same or slightly more, and it'll be an easy game. Unfortunately, as Rafi's pointing out, Seth does have a bingo option this turn. We will see if he cashes it in.
And here comes retailer.
Although, I think Adam might have some bingos here. I need to look. But that looks promising. I guess maybe not with the K, but drop-like isn't a word, right?
What? Dope-like?
Drop-like.
No, drop-like is not a word.
Yeah, he needed through the R in retailer. So will Seth see retailer?
It's in a little bit of a sneaky spot. Like it doesn't look like there's enough room to play there, but there just barely is.
Yeah, it is a sneaky spot.
Yeah, it's the type of spot where I've often overlooked it, thinking there isn't room. But
yeah, that's the type of spot I know if I'll have a good tournament or bad tournament. If I see that, like in the third game of a tournament, I'll know, okay, I'm seeing things well this tournament. I remember once I made a 9 2 letters on the endpoint, so I put 7 letters in between in a sort of tricky looking spot, and I thought, okay, I'm going to do well this tournament because I'm seeing these kinds of things. Whereas some tournaments, I just won't see that.
And do you remember how I did in the tournament?
Yeah, that was the New Orleans tournament I won.
There you go.
So yeah, Rafi has many more Scrabble accolades than me. The one I have over him is winning this very tournament, the Crescent City Cup.
A very impressive win on your part.
Yeah, it was. I dethroned, at the time, the 3-time and only champion of the tournament. Keep in mind, I forget if there was a Collins division yet even. There might have just been starting to be a Collins division back then, but it was when Jesse Day was still playing at the time TWL. He won it the first 3 years in a row, and I had to beat him. I was 2 games behind him going to the last day, and I went 3.5 and a half, and he went 1 and 3, so I eked it out.
And since then, Jesse's never been the same. He's never done well in a tournament. He only got second at Worlds times. Since then, he's fallen off the map. No.
Yeah, well, I think Jesse's never beaten me in a tournament. He's crushed me in thousands of games. Not thousands, but tens of games, like in person, not in tournaments, but I've always beaten him every tournament game we've played.
So it looks like Seth is really running his clock down. It's down to under 3.5 minutes. And he hasn't seen retail yet. He probably just hasn't noticed the spot. If he looks there, he'll see it immediately. But it's kind of wedged in there in a spot on the board that just doesn't look like there's enough room unless you really pay attention.
Yeah, and to be fair, if Seth isn't seeing retailer, everything looks pretty bad from his perspective right now.
And he jokingly put the T down after HAW to make, which he knows isn't a word and was just trying to be funny.
Yeah, it's pretty hot.
Yeah. Oh no. Is he gonna...
Yeah, what does he do here if he doesn't see retailer? I guess we find out.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense. Oh no.
Oh, he picks it back up.
Yes.
Oh, what's he gonna do? It's getting low. And there's a lot of tiles left as well.
Yeah, he's getting low from the window to the wall.
He's in the danger zone where if the pre-end game gets dicey, it might be hard to know what to do. He needs to open a lane if he doesn't play retailer. But
There's
maybe
no way he
will
finds
pop out at
retailer
him.
now, right?
18.
There's
I
no
mean-
way he finds retailer now, right? Okay, yeah.
Well,
he's
once
gonna
it hits his
find
clock, there's no way. But
Yeah.
I've had times where I didn't see anything, and I look and I sudden word that I didn't see pops out. So I wouldn't have been surprised if all of a sudden it popped out at him, but this time it unfortunately did not.
Yeah, it's a pretty reasonable play, honestly, if you don't see retailer. And it keeps an R for a potential re-word next turn. So, if he sees it next turn, there's still a chance, although it doesn't look like this is the rack to do it.
And he
The
does
chat
not
points
draw the
out
blank.
the phony go picked. The chat might just know we love go pick and two pick as words, Rafi.
Yes, we do. One time in a game against eventual Nationals winner Matthew Tunnicliffe, I played TUI for 7 points, missing two pick through a P and a K for 30-something points. And since then have coined that any play as an insertion making multiple overlaps is called a two pick.
And lesser versions of that is called a go pick. And I forget, there was a recent pick word added to the dictionary that we said would be the third level. Or am I just making that up? Isn't
Hopack was added, but I don't think there was another pick word added. Can't think of one.
Oh, Copic.
Oh, Copic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alec, for mentioning that one.
Yeah, so Adam has go pick set up on his rack.
Nice.
Does he try it? That's so many points.
That would be a very funny turn of events if somehow he decides to play go picked, which would be a lot of points, but it's not a
It
word.
would be so many points. That would be, how many points would that be? That's over 100 for sure, right?
So it's over 1 million.
It's over 1 million. Yeah, he played go picked. That's easily like 999,000 extra points.
And to clarify, the spot we're talking about is hooking the D onto Lyrate. Lyrate takes a D, it does not take an S, and Adam is sure to use that spot to take it away from Seth, as there are multiple Ds and a blank still on Steve, and he needs to take that spot out to preserve his chance of winning.
Yeah, Lyrate's the kind of play that looks bad, like for scoring the next turn, but in reality, the bag isn't that great for it if Adam doesn't have a D. P can't go underneath the A or E of Lyrate, the K can't go underneath. So all the high-scoring letters, they don't work there. And maybe that was part of Seth's logic, which is pretty cool. It's a pretty nuanced idea.
And it forks the board, too, because he can fit a 7-letter word underneath the L in Lyrate. If he can end a 7-letter word in A, I, or O, which is a little bit difficult, then...
Yeah, but it's not impossible. And Seth might even play oil next turn off of the L and slogged, and he'll have bingo links, which is what you want in this situation. You want to leave yourself with options. And on a board that looked pretty closed a turn or two ago, there are some bingo lanes.
Yeah, playing Haw and then drawing into retunes was a huge turning point.
Yeah, for sure. So, Retailer was a big miss, but Lyrate doesn't end Seth's chances here. And Adam really needs to think carefully this turn. If you start getting too cute with blocking, if you can't hit the triple, it actually becomes a really close game. So
And
Adam is taking a while here.
looks like he's going to go for Kudo, which would be a nice scoring play. I think Kudo is probably his best play. It doesn't empty the bag.
Yeah, that's a really nice idea. Yeah, I would actually play kids because there's more eyes left.
Ah,
50 you.
very good thought. Kids is much better based on the pool specifically.
Yeah, for this pool, I think kids makes more sense than Kudo, but great idea by Adam.
And now there's only one tile in the bag.
And Adam draws the blank.
Yeah, that is
What a draw for Adam.
That is game over. Because anything that Seth does, Adam will be able to counter and know his exact rack. There's only one tile in the bag.
Only one tile, yeah. So Seth wants to get rid of an eye. Poor Seth.
If there was a way to play off the eye and draw into Padroni in 2 spots, the one spot being under lie rated, that would be wonderful. But he can't. There's nowhere to play just the eye to open up a new spot.
Yeah, and he has to worry about Adam's tiles now, too. There's going to be a lot of bingo options for Adam from Seth's perspective if he even does that.
Yeah. Looking pretty bleak. And he's down under a minute.
Yeah, he has to just play something like radio. Io is not good in TWL. So he does fish for Padroni. Does Adam have any bingos here?
I do not think he has a bingo ending in A, I, or O, which is
But
what he
through the
needs.
E and over bets.
Oh, yeah. See, I forgot about that spot now. So sneaky. I don't think that he has any bingo there.
Yeah, I don't see anything right away either.
Seth has an unplayable android.
Paranoid android, I guess, or something.
So Adam is just going over the options, probably checking his tracking and making sure that he's not missing anything that could cause him to lose in a way that he didn't expect. But other than that, he has the game pretty wrapped up.
Yeah, so missing retailer was a pretty big swing. But Seth, I mean, he came back and put himself in a position to at least threaten. And that's where you want to be. And he had the ability to overtake the lead. He missed that spot, but it was a tough spot to see.
Yeah. And even after that play, he would have needed a bit of help to win because Adam would have had a good counter, would have kept the blank.
Yeah, he would have played Porked or something, and that would have been a ton of points.
Yeah, but it definitely would have been a very interesting endgame.
Yeah, so Adam plays TP, looks pretty good. And Adorn comes down, also looks good.
Nice overlap.
Yeah. It's a great play, but it's the kind of play that takes a lot of time to count up when you have very few seconds left. Not always the best. So we don't know if that blinks an A or an E.
An E as in enormous or an A as in aortas.
Thank you.
And the blank for Kudo was a U as in Uxorus.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking it was an E as an E Morris, like an electronic version.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry, Twitch people, for not playing a better game.
It is an A, according to our sideline reporter, Christian.
And
So it looks like that's the game. Adam got to the win, but it was definitely a battle. And I think that actually does it for the day. I wonder if Adam will point out the retailer spot and Seth will be like, oh, I actually had something there.
yeah.
We'll see. Let's look at the standings for a second just before we leave, just to tell you guys what's going on in all the other games. So right now, it looks like in the Collins division, Dave Koenig is in first at 7-1, and there's a slew of 6-2s, including my often co-partner in crime for comment hitting, Will Anderson, who is 6-2 in third place, but Brad Whitmarsh is in second. Austin Shin 6-2, Jason Keller 6-2. So it's a wide open race there. And in the TWL division right now, so it looks like round 8 hasn't been updated, but going into the round, Seth and Adam were in second and fourth. Joey Malik was the only 7-0, so we'll find out if he has won. And Jackson was 6-1, as we saw last game, winning by 2. So we'll see if he stays in the mix. But Adam could be in first place by the end of the day. We'll see about the other scores. In the meantime, though, I think we'll sign off, unless Rafi, do you have anything else to say?
No, I don't think so. These were two very fun to watch games, and looking forward to 2 more good ones tomorrow.
Exactly. So we will be at the same time tomorrow. We will do the last 2 games of tomorrow. And in the morning, I think there will be a whole slew of call-ins you can watch with people like Jesse Day again. The actual commentator schedule has been posted online. Also, make sure to keep saying who you want to see on stream. We can only do the best job for you guys if you guys communicate with us who you want to see. So keep on doing that, and we'll have a lot of fun tomorrow. In the meantime, have a great night, everyone. Stay classy, and we're signing off.